name is Donna Little, and I'm a faculty member here at Menlo College. I've been here since 1986. I had a career prior to that as a financial executive in the Silicon Valley, and upon the birth of my first child, who is now a student here at Menlo College, I decided to shift gears, try to give something back, and found this wonderful place, Menlo College, where I've been ever since. My interest at Menlo College has always been in teaching corporate finance and financial accounting, as well as managerial accounting. But in the course of teaching those courses, I came to realize that students really valued learning how to keep track of their personal finances, how to invest, how to understand debt, and those elements of my class seemed to give them a great deal of satisfaction, and I got a lot of instant feedback from my students on that.
Me, in general, I've stopped spending a lot of money. I mean, I like buying things and stuff, but us together, we've done a lot of cutting back, actually.
Because we would have Starbucks almost every day.
I mean, we're best friends, so, you know, when we spend money on each other, we do things.
We go out to eat together.
So we definitely stopped the Starbucks. So that was good. I mean, Professor Little was like, you need to stop.
The most important thing I learned in this class was to be selfish. You have to learn how to not use your money. You have to learn how to keep it because it is important not to spend. It has helped me a lot, especially with the amortization schedule. It helped me manage my money because I didn't know how to spend it, how much I should spend in order to have more the next month. After this class, I actually know how to spend my money now, and I'm really confident on how I'm spending it.
I became more and more interested over the years in helping my students achieve financial independence and financial strength, whatever that means for them. In terms of whether today's young people need to understand personal finance, I think it's always been the case that students have needed to learn personal finance. You know, when you go out into the world and you're on an allowance or you're trying to earn money, there's the obligation of student loans. There's just a lot of new information that students need. I think it's always been that way. I think there is a little more focus on trying to support students through regulatory measures and information provided by various accounting groups, like the California CPA Society has a big program to inform students. I think there's more help now, perhaps, there's been in a long time. There's always going to be predatory lenders out there. There's going to be people that are trying to take advantage of a lack of knowledge, and we want our students to be prepared for those situations as they arise.
Menlo College President Jim Kelly sat down with some students to talk about what they learned in their personal finance class.
I'm here with some of our brightest freshmen who have just finished a 6-week course on personal finance. The course was funded by Citibank and taught by Professor Donna Little.
Tell me about the class.
Was it an exciting class? Was it a boring class?
I felt it was an exciting class because we were always constantly learning something new, whether it was about credit or how to make sure that if you do get a credit card, you check the APRs and everything to make sure you don't get into big debt and to pay it off in a manageable time.
APRs, what is that?
It's an annual percentage rate.
Annual percentage rate, is that an important thing to know about?
Yeah.
Very important.
Why, John, is that important?
Because if the APR rate isn't good, then you're not going to have very good luck.
And can the APR rate change or go up high if you don't make a payment or something like that? Professor Little, Brittany?
If you're late on payments, your APR does go up by a big amount. So, I mean, it can start out at maybe 5%, and because you're late one time, even if it's just a day, it can go up to 10, sometimes 20%. So it's a big increase, so it's good not to be late on your payments.
How long does it take to pay off a major credit card debt? Was that?
Years. It takes years to pay it off.
And do any of you current decades?
Yeah.
And do any of you have current credit card debt?
No.
I do not.
Do any of you have credit cards?
No.
Okay.
I had one.
You had one.
Yeah, and then
how'd you do with it?
After taking the class, I cut it up.
Okay. That sounds like good advice.
One element of this problem in our culture is the use of credit card debt. We tend to whip out the plastic, really not thinking about the consequences, and we tend psychologically to feel differently about a purchase we make with cash rather than when we make on credit, which is irrational. For how to use credit cards wisely, I think one if one has the discipline to realize that it truly is the same as paying cash, and that if one pays off that balance every month in full, then I think it's a perfectly acceptable way of paying for things. After all, you get a statement, you can see exactly where your money went, and if you're planning and budgeting, it's very helpful to see what I spent my money on last month. But on the other hand, if we are not disciplined and we do not pay that balance, the amount of money that will be wasted, completely wasted in interest on that credit card debt is staggering. Elizabeth Warren, who is on the President's Council right now, and a famous professor from Harvard in this field, talked about it being an obscene amount of money. And so I think one has to pay one's credit cards in full, and that's the key to managing one's credit card debt.
Professor Little's class doesn't just teach about the negatives of personal finance, it also teaches you how you can take the money you make to the next level.
What else did you learn in the class? Okay, APR rate, credit cards.
They had, at first she showed us the negative things about like finance and you could fall into debt, but towards the end of the class she showed you like, if you just, when you get a job after Menlo and you tuck away just like 10%, 15% of your money, how you could slowly over time become a millionaire.
And do you put your money in your mattress, or where would you put the money as far as, did you learn anything about that?
Our professor told us that it was best to invest your money, or like, it's not always just best to put it in the bank, but invest in other companies and you'll get your return on your money way more than if you just kept it in the bank with a higher percentage rate.
Make sure to get capital and never sell capital.
Okay, that's really good advice.
Once people get the idea that they should live below their means, which is a tough idea, the question, and they become excited about the power of amassing capital and what that capital can do for them over the course of their life. Once they get to that level, then they start asking me, how much should I save? And so usually I sit down with my students and we create, again, a spreadsheet, and we look at, well, what if we were to save this much % of your salary, what would you expect to receive in terms of capital that you could accumulate by age 40, 50, whatever they want to talk about, and how much passive income, how much income would that capital be generating for them? At that point, students get very, very motivated towards saving.
How about retirement? Did you talk, you're also young, you know, my area is gerontology, the study of aging, and so I used to have to talk to 18 to 21-year-olds about saving for their retirement years. Did Professor Little talk at all about that, or did you get any hints because to help your parents or your grandparents?
She talked about capital formation and how we can save up after we graduate from college and soon after, like saving. And she mentioned when she got out of college, she saved a lot of money and lived with only one paycheck.
Right. She was my only faculty member that had a house in Atherton, you know, so, you know, she did a real good job.
I believe that saving for retirement is very beneficial, and we have significant tax advantages that we are fortunate to have of saving for retirement. I do not think that should be all one saves for. I think one needs to save for I think everyone needs to have a certain amount of emergency money in separate savings that one can access very readily if one needs to.
What are your thoughts about today's economy as far as what's happening today out there? The stock market's been going up recently, but there seems to be a whole lot of people that are unemployed.
You learn that the credit card companies, they really don't care about anybody but themselves and making profits, because they purposely target people who they know pretty much can't pay it back. So people who have really low income, or sometimes people who don't even have jobs. And they target them because they're more likely to want a credit card and to get into big credit card debt, and then they can't pay it off, so then they just can collect on interest and all these other late fees. So I think it's really messed up how everything works with the credit card companies.
In the video too, they had this two moms, and then they showed how when their daughters started college, or they took out credit cards, and then they ended up getting so far in debt that they committed suicide. And then actually wrote a paper about it, and it was like something like 15% of suicides in the last couple of years have been because of credit card debt.
One of the things that strikes me as I teach my courses and I talk about money, 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 is that people are going to think my goodness, it's all about the money. I tell my students it's not about the money. It's being able to have independence and freedom and a certain amount of strength and a lack of stress. We want to be able to achieve our goals in life. We don't want to follow money around. We don't want to chase money. We want to have money support us for doing the things that we think are important.
We hope you'll take the time to educate young people in your life about the importance of understanding their personal finance decisions. Saving money and understanding debt are very important. Thanks for watching.